Welcome to Continue Mission Radio with Captain James McCormick. By veterans, for veterans. Guest hosts tonight are author Greg Meakin and Miss Val, our military radio gal. Continue Mission starts now.
You got me headed to the left, headed to the right, headed back and forth, but baby, it's alright. You got me going to the east, going to the west, going up and down, cause baby, you know best. All day, all night, running around, I'm never gonna stop because you never settle down. Got me shooting into space, flying at the sun. I'm never coming back, cause baby, you're the...
Good morning, America. Good morning, world. It's August 13th, 2025, and this show is coming to you from sunny and hot Arizona. This is another rapid deployment of Continue Mission Radio with Captain James McCormick. I'm Val Olson, and I'm here today at my kitchen table with Greg Meakin. This is an exciting show because it's another broadcast on, drumroll, the Veteran Channel. Just like Continue Mission, the Veteran Channel is produced by veterans for veterans. So let's light the fuse. Let's buckle up, everyone. Welcome to Continue Mission. Greg Meakin, what is on your heart today?
Val Olson, what is on my heart? What is on my heart is I am now officially a Gen X male. I am running by the seat of my pants. Good to be here again. Good to see you again. This is Continue Mission Radio on the Veteran Channel. The Veteran Channel, as folks might have heard, Val, through the month of August, we're doing 4 Continue Mission shows, which are basically pilots for the Veteran Channel, which will be officially launched in September. Boy, oh boy, the only thing I had in my heart today is Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth. It's not a brand new story, but $12.9 million. Okay, $12.9 million. This gentleman was paid in bonuses and sponsorships and stuff, like athletes get and stuff. So $12.9 million. And he decided to donate 100% of it to veterans housing and a specific project, as a matter of fact. I didn't take any notes for the show today, so I'm just winging it. How fun is this? But 150 residential units for homeless veterans, a total of 300 beds. Where? In Minneapolis, Minnesota, his hometown. That's Minneapolis, amazing. By the way, for folks that don't do any research, is a grease fire. It's a grease fire. Defund the police. This is the Ilhan Omar town. This is Tampon Tim Waltz. So I look at that story jumped out at me this morning. I'm saying, okay, there are 3 presidents in history that have donated their salary. I was all over this morning, Val, about 4:30. The 3 presidents. One is John F. Kennedy. The other is Donald Trump, and the other is I think it was Hoover. Okay. They donate their salary. I looked at the list because everybody knows Donald Trump hasn't taken a dime in salary. He actually accepts $1 to make it official, but then he donates it back. It's $400,000 per quarter. And I looked at the list. I wish I had it in front of me. We're talking about donating it to the Veterans Administration, to national parks, Department of Agriculture. But really, really good things. We'll get a list. Think about this for next show. Seriously, Val, a list. I couldn't believe all the departments he donated to. JFK was also that kind of a guy. He says, I come from a wealthy family, period. And for anyone out there, I love this. For anyone out there, I love this. That says, oh, Donald Trump can afford it. He's a billionaire. He can afford it. He can afford it, right? All those folks. I challenge them, and I mean this. I challenge them to get their paycheck and sign it over to someone else other than themselves. I'm sitting there myself saying $12.9 million to Hegseth, who, by the way, is a rock star. People love him. The military guys love him, Val. Recruiting's up to record highs, Val, including to ICE.
Really?
Welcome back to America. Okay, welcome back to America, 1950s handshake world where things made sense. But Hegseth, I thought to myself, because I challenged myself on this stuff, and I'm saying, okay, if I got a paycheck for $12.9 million, I'm not even going to round it off to $13 million. Would I have the guts, no matter what, to give that away? Seriously. Because I know I'd be right now in Arizona City, Arizona, August 13, 2025. I'd be scooting down to the bank to deposit that thingy, right? And I challenge anybody to ask themselves the same question, if rich people can, quote, afford it. A bit of a monologue here, but I wrote this in my book 4 years ago, Why I Came to America and What I Think Now. Now it is a time in 2025, and I know the president's thinking about this stuff. Now is the time for anyone wealthy in Congress, anyone Senate, the John Kerrys of the world, an heir to Heinz ketchup. Hello, John Kerry. He doesn't need a salary. So anyone who's independently wealthy in Congress, Senate, or really should be civil service. They accept $1 for their paycheck and they donate it back. My favorite, and in the book, was you donate it directly against the national debt. There's a way to start, at least, even if it's just taking a bite out of the bear. But I'm really pleased to see this gesture by Secretary Hegseth. I loved seeing it by Trump. I loved seeing it by JFK and Hoover. And I encourage all politicians around the world, get this, Val, here we go, around the world again, who are independently wealthy, give the money back to the taxpayers, okay? And if anything, I like it going directly against the national debt. I really like that. As an example. That's called a monologue, Val. You asked me what was on my heart, and that's what it is. I'll take a break from blabbering here, back to you a little bit as far as just where we're going today and stuff. I'm off to the races. Thank you for having me.
I love your plan. I suggested that in Alberta and across Canada, that could really be a game changer and also a quick way to establish some trust. So I back your idea. I think it's fantastic. And we do have good people that are all in. And so this is just a way to add a dimension to it, not just, talk the talk, but walk the walk. So I love your idea, Greg. So we today want to say a big good morning to all of our vets that are listening. And I just want to give a quick update because I know a lot of people have been asking, where can we watch the Veteran Channel? So we will be featured on Apple TV, Amazon TV, Roku, Greg Meakin's YouTube channel, of course, Rumble, and Facebook pages, and dozens of other platforms. The Veteran Channel airs live every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. And if you miss the live show, no worries. There are 24/7 replays on multiple platforms. And so that way we are on 24/7. We're ready to go. And our favorite thing to do is update you with important information that affects your life and world for the better. Last week, if you didn't get a chance to watch that episode, I encourage you to, because you were talking about housing and solutions. So your YouTube channel is the go-to place. Check it out, Greg Meakin, and his name is spelled there.
That's great. You do great intros, Val. I got to learn from you. You do those great intros, those great summaries and stuff. And yes, indeed, Continue Mission is an old, seasoned product of over a decade. Val, you know this. The founder is Captain James McCormick, who actually might even parachute in today. You never know. He's in Washington, D.C. He's the executive director of the Vietnam Veterans of America, VVA.org. And Captain James McCormick is a busy, busy man. So he might drop in, he might not, but I know he's engaged every single day. Captain McCormick is engaged on the Hill, on DC, trying to help our veterans in some way. That last show, excuse me, Val, was indeed great. So refer back to it. The today on Continue Mission, like you say, Continue Mission used to be a radio show that went out Friday nights to mainly Vietnam vets, but a lot of now Iraq and Afghanistan war vets. And don't forget now, our law enforcement, first responders, our border guys, these guys are veterans as well. And James and his wonderful crew was Pastor Father Mike Bacella and Rich Kilblain. They went out every Friday night, and we actually guest hosted one of those broadcasts going out to 200,000 American veterans. It was very, very cool. We still hear about that show. So we're basically just pivoting to the next lane, launching it to the next level. And Continue Mission Radio is going to be just like this right here. It's going to be a lot of veteran talk, a lot of military talk, but it'll be featured on the Veteran Channel, which will be hosting eventually starting September, multiple shows and stuff. It's going to be very cool, but all about the veterans. To folks, yeah, go ahead.
Well, 16.9 million vets. So like the stories, the connections are endless, and it's international as well. So there's going to be a lot of reach, a lot of vets, and there's a story I'm hoping you can share, because you haven't actually shared it here, but you've talked about it on some of the previous radio shows, and just a little bit about your background. And Aunt Margaret, if we have time today, I would love to hear that story, because it would be the first time you've platformed it here.
Aunt Margaret. Oh my goodness. As I say, coincidentally, there's a Facebook post today about Aunt Margaret. Aunt Margaret was my only surviving relative from the World War II generation. I'll take a few minutes here if it's okay, Val, because again, people haven't kind of heard this. The net of the story was my Aunt Margaret sold war bonds in London for Churchill during World War II. It was the era where women really engaged in wartime. Think Rosie the Riveter. But I'll tell you, the history leading up to that is immense, because I really didn't get to know my British side, English side of my family till I was 41 years old. I will not go into this story really at length, but I'd never met my father till I was 41 years old. He's from Leicester, England. And he and my two uncles went to World War II in 1939, spent 5 years over there like so many of those guys did. One of my uncles, Uncle Percy, did not come back. Previous to that, World War I, my grandfather, Sam Meakin, World War I, fought for 4 years. Oh, go, Val, you are just on point today. Sam Meakin fought for 4 years in the trenches in World War I. Miraculously, he's also, of course, from Leicester, England. Everybody's from Leicester, England. I think it goes back to like 1700s or something. But Sam Meakin was, again, 4 years in the trenches in World War I, and France and Belgium, I think. But he survived. He came back. And miraculously, he ended up having 6 kids as a young man. But sadly, he died within years after he got back. He died young because of the effects of mustard gas, German mustard gas. So my grandmother, Janet, at the time, grandmother to my kid, to my father and stuff, she had to drop the 6 children off in an orphanage in London because young moms didn't have a way to support their kids at the time. There was no welfare. There's no public subsidy. The churches, which you used to always, and still do, fill this void, they were overwhelmed. And there was a time I joked that there were no men left in London because of the wars. But he dropped the kids off, including my father, to an orphanage. And my Aunt Margaret had said, I talked to her about it. She had said it wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't kind of the cliche orphanages that you see the bad movies on and stuff, but they really took care of them. And turns out Aunt Margaret was the younger sister of my father, and she said forever she thanks my dad because he took her under his wing. She was only 10 years old, 8 years old, to get through these orphanage years. My father, I think he left about 12 years old out into the world. So, but I had first-hand conversation with Aunt Margaret. I met her obviously late in life. She passed away at 96 years old, only a few years ago. Breaks my heart forever because it was just post-COVID during the travel restrictions, and I couldn't fly over there to meet her. To this day, breaks my heart. But I got a lot of first-hand stories. Always ask for first-hand stories. Always always seek the guidance or the stories of older people because they're an encyclopedia of knowledge. Aunt Margaret lived right outside London, England, during World War II, during the Blitz, where they bombed London for 60 straight nights. Do people know that? 60 straight nights. And I think my grandma shuffled them into the subway and stuff those days. But as forever and ever, I love my Aunt Margaret. She was so feisty. But she said, Greg, she said, we all worked hard at it. We didn't just cower and fret and fear because danger was there every day, 24 hours a day in London. Are you kidding me? From 1939 to 1945, everybody. These guys went over to war, and there was no Facebook, there was no email and stuff. They didn't hear from weren't able to get in touch with their families for years. So, but she said, always glasses half full. Aunt Margaret, God bless you. And that clip, including a photo of her, indeed is on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page today. But God bless her, she always said, the glass is half full, the bright side. No, we got through it. We got through it okay. We all worked at it. When you stay busy, you don't get, again, stressed or fearful or whatever. And she said, I sold war bonds door to door for Churchill. That's what the gals did. They're used to their Avon days and Tupperware parties now. This is selling war bonds. I remember in Montreal, Canada, my grandfather went over the Canadian Army artillery from 39 to 44. And I know even in Dorval, Quebec, just outside of Montreal, there were shades of war. There was an air raid signal, an air raid near one of our banks. It never went off anymore, but it was there for air raids. They had blackouts in Montreal, just in case German bombers coming over. Rations during the time, there's very little ice cream and stuff, quote, fancy stuff, because it was all sent over to Europe for the soldiers. So that is a full-scale rant, Val Olson. Not rant, but reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't thought of
A piece of living history. And you said something there, shades of war. And, that is really important, I think, because there is so many shades and layers, and it's here, it's gone, it's over, but there's memories, there's all these things. And so it's important to find a way just to, get through it and talk about it. And thank you for sharing that. That's an incredible story. And if you want to go into more detail about that, you will find it on YouTube. So Greg Meakin on YouTube, or you can go on Greg's website too, gregmeakin.com.
Thank you. I didn't again, you steered me to this today, Val. You never know what to expect on live long form radio. Total side note, this is not a plug. This is I wish you to read it. There are two pieces. I'm a writer. And there are two essays that I wrote that are indeed on my trending section on my website. One is about my father, one is about my grandfather. And again, if I ever sound reflective, God, here we go, Val, another broadcast, right? If I ever sound reflective, it's because I'm traveling down Route 66 right now. Okay, I'm 66 years old, and don't let anyone tell you different. Once you get over 60, especially again, as I've said, you're maybe on a pension and the thumb is not on you anymore. You do reflect and about all these things that we're talking about. And you also, to me, there's also an urgency. If you're a person, again, who tries to impact the world or bring meaning to the world or meaning to your family, there's an urgency of getting your story out, even if you leave life tomorrow. I say this and I reflect so many of these older, old stories, memories and stuff for the younger generation, because you just never know. And once you go through it yourself, where you do lose someone, and you say, oh my God, I would have asked them this or asked them this or asked them this. To this moment, I have dozens of questions that I would ask all of these past relatives. So we'll never win that game completely, 100%. But I always suggest try and talk to older people, even folks you see on the street sometimes. These guys that look like haggard veterans, they're usually haggard veterans, and they all have amazing stories. So just the message of the day on that. I do want to lighten things up just a tiny bit, because something came to me as well, Val. It doesn't look like Captain McCormick's going to parachute in today. I'm not sure. He's doing something on the Hill in D.C. I don't know if he's talking to the president or Pete Hegseth or any of the buddies that he runs with. Not sure. But we always keep the landing strip open for him, even to this moment, if he wants to drop in. It's called rapid deployment. I wanted to bring up something a little bit lighter, in that there's a lot of talk these days about the, of course, the generation stuff, but a lot of talk about college versus just leaving high school to go to trade school or whatever. But there's a lot more talk than ever on that. And we have also done, of course, full broadcasts on that. Grade 13, after high school, it's my plan. It's written down, which is we all should take a break and be open to do a paid, minimum wage paid position with either the military, the Peace Corps, other services or whatever, trade school for that year. And then the kids then all jump into the real world. Most of them will stay as internships for the rest of their life in that grade 13 year. But that's a conversation for another day. But the big issue is college degree versus not. Leaving high school and, again, quote, fending for yourself, getting a job, trade, whatever, do nothing for a year. There's a lot or more. There's a lot of people like that. And I always used to say I relay a lot of stuff of what my mom used to teach me. She was a teacher and stuff. And the A students and the college degree folks versus the C students. And oddly, this is becoming a conversation more and more these days. Ask Charlie Kirk. Ask Mike Rowe. They all believe in grade 13. 1 year civic service post high school. Okay? Look it up. But my mother took me aside. She was always 50 years ahead of her time. She said, Greg, because we were talking about college degrees. I was really, really wanted to get a college degree in Canada. It's much, much more focused, I believe, on kind of college degree, more so than the States. But she used to always say, don't put too much focus on college degrees. It's really good to have, strive for it, but don't put all of your stock in it. Don't overrate it either, because here's her quote. This is Nancy Meakin, circa 1970s, Val. The A students end up working for the C students anyways. I've heard that somewhere before, maybe years gone by. But the A students, because the A students generally are the perfectionists. They do the college degrees and all that stuff, but a lot of them don't have any street smarts. I've got a relative who has multiple college degrees, a 4.2% GPA, multiple college degrees, but she didn't have street smarts. As far as just how to get along and stuff in a big, bad real world. And the C students tended to be the more entrepreneurial. They weren't huge on structure during education. They liked to do probably their own thing. They were probably a little bit misbehaved because often they're bored. But those guys and gals that kind of just wing it after high school, very often they open their own businesses. And once again, the A students end up working for the C students. Anyways, how about that, Val Olson? Back to you.
That's really interesting. I was thinking earlier this morning, what age was it when people stopped thinking of themselves as special? So simple, right? But there comes a point when you decide I'm not special. And the impact, right? The impact that has. And
that's a loaded question, Val. You know, I'm 66 years old and I still want it all about me, Val. You know what? I'm going to interject just a little bit, but keep that thought. I think everything changes when you have children. I think everything changes, at least I'd say for a man. I say this because when you see your own baby born, to me, life's just not the same. And it's funny because we've chatted about this a lot on air, Val. Jordan Peterson actually recommends that men get married younger rather than later because it squares them away. Because the minute your child is born, and you know that you're again, marriage is one thing. Other kids, nephews, nieces, that's another thing. But when your own child is born, and I had 2 of them the same night. One of them was 9 pounds. One of them was almost 7 pounds. Okay, Val, that's more than another broadcast for another day. And that's another channel dealing with twin boys, a channel, a network. Okay. But once you see, everything changes. I was a really, really ambitious business guy in those days. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week and I was making a lot of money. But I had my employer come up to me. Actually, he was a car dealer, a Ford dealership. God love him. Rest in peace. John Quisenberry. God love him. He came up to me probably 6 months after my twins were born. And I'd worked for them for like 4 years before that. Right? And he said, "You're just a different guy. You're just a different man." I ended up relocating to Florida to be close to the grandparents and stuff for 3 years. And he said he never blamed me for that. He never blamed me for leaving the Northwest because I didn't want to miss my kids when they were babies and toddlers. I just didn't want to miss it. But John, think about this. I resigned from the company at the time at Bay Ford, and he just never blamed me. He just said, after the boys were born, you're a different guy, man. So anyhow, there's another reflection of the day. But it's so funny. You know all of these stories, though, Val, because you've heard them. And thank you for bringing them out in me today, eh? So a man changes when he has his own baby. End of story. And the rest of it, when do we become less self-centered? Are you kidding? I don't think ever, really. People like to hear their own names. They do. They love it when you chat about them, just human nature and stuff. But let us fight it every day to be less self-centered and more in service to others, to a mission greater than ourselves. Back to you, Val.
Well, I think that's the part of special that people need to be able to carry, right? Like that you are special, you do have something to contribute. And all generations, you know, we do talk about the boomers and we talk about retirement. And here we have a belief that with retirement means redeployment. And it's not an excuse to like hang your skates up, right? It's your work just begins in a new way. And I think that there's like a rebirth that can happen in all of these generations working together, but you have to want that. You have to want that in the world and want to be the change, and be where the action is. Like, we're so excited for this channel to launch because we've got great things, real things, not just talking points, right? But actionable things that you can follow and be a part of and know that you are needed. Because here on the Veteran Channel, we are recruiting 24/7. Like, we are
Ooh.
on, right? 24/7. I'm ready. Like, my cell phone could ring at any second. And if there's important broadcasts, we're going to bring them to you. And so we have to stay in kind of like close proximity and be reachable all the time with stuff. So it's really a mission. Our mission signal hopefully will be figured out in September-ish, but we're practicing. We're getting
Right.
we're getting ready.
Honestly, this is so enormous. I've always said, if you know what the weather channel is on your phone,
Yes.
well, this hopefully is the Veteran Channel. Same thing on your phone. But legit, when something is really big, which this is, with so many multi-platforms, and a lot of people behind it, I'm telling you, in DC. So rather than rush to it, we're working logistics. We're getting our funnels working as far as, again, big stuff, Apple TV, Amazon TV, etc. And I've just told everybody, let's wait till Labor Day. Let's keep doing these shows, which indeed, these are great continuing mission shows. These are standalone shows right now. And indeed, they're quietly being used as pilots, and they're being viewed by people that are not necessarily just common viewers. Things like producers, sponsors, donors, logistics people back east. Anywho, so sometime after Labor Day, everything starts after Labor Day.
Yes.
After Labor Day, Veteran Channel. Here we go, and I'm really looking forward to it. What's fun? There's a couple things you mentioned there, Val, and I really want to reiterate it. Number one, the continued mission model. He's dealing with these vets, these guys. They're awesome. They all have a story. They're all, they all have gifts and stuff. But chatting with these guys, you always we do here. You always want to make sure you talk, yes, about these concepts. Redeploying to your second career in life, having impact on what you want to do, all those stuff, all those things. But you also want to stay down to earth, boots on the ground. Can we lower costs in housing? Hello. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. These guys love Hegseth. Val, don't let the media tell you differently. He's a rock star. But helping him, whether it's housing, utility costs, can we get those down? Some sort of income streams, benefits, stuff, can we get those up? And then all of a sudden, our veterans are just living easier. So it's a combination of that, very much like dealing with the home front. We deal with big stuff in the world, deal with all the world stuff. Don't look at the news these days. You just walk off a ledge. Mm-hmm. But in the end, it comes down to the home front, to managing the day-to-day, just with these with these veterans and the hundreds. Can I jump in there?
Oh, I want to jump in because when our heroes come home, we want to address that. That's probably a key in all of this, that the home front is where we secure it. So we want you to come inside, and we want to talk about anything. There's nothing off limits. That's what I love about this network, is that there is nothing off limits. 16.9 million vets, and we need to find solutions, and we need to know the problem. So when we know the problem, then we can find the solution, find the pieces too. And guess what? We run with zero bureaucracy here. So it's just like fast, better, accurate. And I think that that's important. That system and that way of thinking works. So we know that when you come home, the war is often here at home. And I say that with the responsibility of saying, I get it. I understand. You need support here, and you need so much more than what is available, and that's why we're here. We're going to change that. And that's a promise. We are not going anywhere. We're going to stay. We are going to be on your cell phone soon, right? We're going to have an app, hopefully.
Isn't that
Okay,
great?
we're working on it. So when we're able to do these things, it's just going to be like an extension. And eventually we might even get to like go to events and see you, and there'll be exciting things happening that you want us to come and cover, and we will do that and bring you real stories. So that is for our heroes. Welcome home, whether you are just getting back or you're redeploying, but this is your mission field, and we are recruiting heroes now. So please add us, follow us, and we love you and we thank you.
I love that. That's great. And the truth is easy to sell because we are 24/7. The most accessible people I've ever seen is Captain McCormick. I can't believe it. Other folks, they're accessible. They want to hear. I want to reiterate and really put a bookend on this thought that you're talking about, Val. That just want to tell people, these guys that come back from war, and also I just learned these law enforcement guys that retire, get this. These guys statistically have seen, in terms of traumatic events in life, a traumatic event, bad, like again, car crash, some of the bad stuff. But these guys in law enforcement specifically have seen 300 to 400 tragic events in their careers. And usually these careers can be pretty short, 20 years sometimes. But I've seen 300 to 400 tragedies in their life. The average U.S. citizen, like you and me, Val, and like most of the people we know, have seen 3 to 4. Think about that. We've seen 3 to 4 tragedies, and these guys retire having seen 300 to 400. I just want to say, I want to reiterate this. Boy, especially to our military guys and our retiring law enforcement. Okay, I'm just going to say, when you say nothing's off limits, Val, these guys are messed up, okay? I mean, these guys are messed up. Not across the board. But they're messed up, get this, more than they'll ever let on. Because, for the most part, they're men. Okay? My grandfather came back from 5 years of war and just went the next day and started working as an accountant. What went through his mind, I wonder. What was their transition there? But these guys, this is not cliche. They need help and assistance and guidance leading up to their redeployment, their retirement. And James McCormick is huge on this because of what the Vietnam veterans did for the younger guys coming back from war. These Iraq and Afghanistan guys, okay, I'm telling you what, they're messed up too. They're messed up. James was messed up. I mean, messed up to me. Trauma, sleep. I know one Vietnam vet right now who's probably crowding 80. He still wakes up in the middle of the night with nightmares. He did 3 tours of Nam. So the Vietnam veterans and the Vietnam veterans of America, their mission truly is that it never happens again. That guys don't ever come back to war and be rejected like they were in the 60s and the 70s. Those Vietnam guys, they were spit on, they were abused. And so the Vietnam vets wanted to make sure that that never happens again. But as Cap McCormick and as Pete Hegseth would say, the job's never done. These guys need help. And not only, again, spiritual, emotional help, transitioning. You got alcohol problems, Val. You got alcohol problems, drug problems. You have guys that don't have a real tough time getting a job. Hello. And again, not across the board. But these guys do need assistance, and Cap McCormick and the Vietnam Veterans of America are going to assure that these guys are never forgotten again. Right up to this minute, you can never be 100%. You'll never get to everybody. But of the 26 guys, 26 U.S. military vets that kill themselves every day, if we could cut that down to 25, that'd be a victory. Or goodness, 0. How about 0? That's a great number. Back to you on that, Val. Thank you for the time.
Yeah. This is a rescue mission, and this is where we talk about it. It's authentic. It's from our heart, and we see you, we hear you, and most of all, we know what's going on, and we're doing something about it. So from 26 a day, we have to start there. We have to acknowledge that, and it is our responsibility, as much as it is our honor, to address it and fix it and be part of that solution. So we are recruiting heroes, because that is what you are. You are special. And it is my job, personally my job, to make sure you know it each and every day. And that's what the Veteran Channel is all about. So make sure and just get connected. Anything we have put it through major amounts of vetting. And whenever possible, I commit to this, to try and go source level. And, we want to be able to connect with these leaders that are making big decisions. And behind the scenes, we are attending meetings, and we are doing due diligence. But it's also, we need you too. We need to know what's going on in your head, in your heart, in your personal life. We need to know where the cogs are in the wheel, where things are working and aren't working. And that's how we make real change. And that's what it's all about.
I love, boy, you got the word tracks down here today. They're heroes. Dude, they're heroes. I like the 24/7 recruiting. I love that. We're probably 40 minutes into the show right now. We're probably I'm thinking we wrap this in maybe 5 minutes or so, maybe 10. I want to tell one quick story, because you keep jogging my mind today, Val. You're crazy that way, jogging my old brain here. But the theme being, these veterans are all around you, okay? And especially these Vietnam veterans. I've got in my little condominium complex down here in Arizona, I've got 4 Vietnam vets. It's an over 55 residence, Val, but probably 4. But I just want to again, this is especially for younger people, ask questions. I was sitting and I was not a very happy guy. I was sitting in my cell phone store where I had purchased my new cell plan. And I was in there and going through pretty long wait. Won't get into that. Okay, won't get into that. But I'm sitting there for 45 minutes. I'm sitting there, and this guy walks in the front door, and he's the grizzled, haggard guy. He looks like he came right out of the shop or something. He came in. He was limping bad. He had a cane. He was limping bad, and he came in, and I don't think he was a happy guy either with the telephone service. But he came in, and we encountered each other again. Make eye contact with folks out there in the world. Don't be afraid to say hi now and then. Because he walked over and I said, hey, there's a seat here that's cool in the air conditioning where we can both wait for 45 minutes, right? But he walked over and sat down. We had a nice chat. And it turns out, very quickly, I found out that he was a sniper. And he was a sniper, and it turns out that he was my age. He was in the 60s. Wasn't that old. But he was a sniper, and he was a sniper. He worked for the government, and his claim to fame that he was the main sniper for Ronald Reagan events twice. Isn't that great? I'm sitting there saying, are you kidding me? Because we all learned about that kind of stuff, protection stuff at Butler, PA, okay? But anyhow, apparently he had a perfect track record. But I'm saying, are you kidding me? Seriously? And I just say this because these are the conversations you can have. I'm saying, are you kidding me? You're a sniper. For X number of years. You're now retired. You're in really bad shape. It turns out his back, I'd never heard this before. His back literally was not only fused, but it was completely replaced. All of his spine was completely replaced with, I don't know, the medical technology there. But I was quizzing him, as you can imagine, Val, me quizzing someone, queries. And I said, okay, you're a sniper, X number of years. And he did multi tours. He was busy, I think, going around the world. Okay. And there's two things he wouldn't answer to me because I said, that's fascinating. Oh, yeah. This is it. I can't believe it. He came out of rural America. It was one of these stories. That's right. It was one of these stories where he was a great shot when he was 5 years old. Okay. So he came out and the military recruited him. That's what it was. And he ended up competing in the worldwide sniper contest. This is great. I said, you have what? Oh, yeah, worldwide sniper contest. And they're like, I don't know, like 1,000 guys that come from around the world. And he placed 7th. And I asked him, okay, because of that distance and stuff, he was talking like 2,000 yards and stuff, 100% accuracy, you know. I said, okay, of the top 10 guys that won that international competition as snipers, because I bet there's some real good shooters there, right? And from around the world. So you get the Russian guys, they're all snipers. I said, how close together where you are as the top 10? And he said, dude, when you're at that level, we're all top 10s. It's just a matter of whether you had one extra coffee that day or whatever. And he had only 2 questions he wouldn't answer was what his name was and how many people he killed. He wouldn't go near that. But the message through this, and I do have more about this guy who's it was amazing. Boy, he was pissed off at that phone company. But never underestimate a guy who walks in with a cane. You know, don't let looks blind you, and realize everybody is special. Everybody has their story. If you just ask. So I'm actually, if cool, we're almost at 10 to the hour here, Val. I'm almost ready to wrap this if we can. There's more to come. There's always more to come. I'll let you
I'm just going to do a rundown because today has been a fantastic episode. So we are happy to give you updates on the Veteran channel, which is going to be practically everywhere very soon. But watch for it on Roku, on Apple, and Prime, and it's going to be everywhere. But best of all, it's going to be on your device, so you can watch on demand. You can find us on YouTube as well, gregmeakin.com. But YouTube is just the greatest spot. It's like a library collection where you have short videos. I love that. So you can just do it by search. And we're also talking about being special, that you are special, that you are a part of something. And from our hearts, we say thank you to our heroes today. We talked about being ready for rapid deployments and also taking the time to make eye contact, to pay attention. Yeah. And you never know who you are going to meet. And I do hope you told that sniper gentleman, Greg, that we are recruiting fast and furious. And that there is a home and a space for you. And to our law enforcement, one thing I want to touch on really quick, because this is a huge resource. Sheriff Lamb's brand new book is out. And so we salute you, law enforcement. You are heroes. You are welcome here. But when the Lambs write a book, they write a book. Let me tell you, it is like a manual. It reads in my kitchen. I'm talking about Janelle's book. Mark's is up here, his new one, but I'm going to just talk about Janelle for a minute. Her book is usually in my kitchen or my purse. And I planned the first time I read it, maybe 10, 15 minutes. I didn't have a lot of time, and I read the whole book, start to finish, cried my eyes out, laughed. But most of all, I recognized this is content we need everywhere. Moms need this. High schoolers need this. And so with this new book, 10-7, I haven't read it yet, but this is for law enforcement. This is for you guys. So if you want to touch on that, Greg, before we close out, go ahead.
Yeah, I will. I'm glad you posted that, because that is totally this theme today. 10-7, this is Sheriff Mark Lamb. Look him up. He's all over my YouTube channel and elsewhere. But he just retired as sheriff of Pinal County. And 10-7 means your last call, your last radio broadcast. And in this case, to the Pinal County dispatcher. And the key is most men, especially career men, they identify with what their career is. They're defined by what their career is. And Sheriff Lamb in this book is all about 10-7. Well, what do you do after that? What do you do after you retire? Because again, we've been talking about it. There's a transition. And so the entire book, and I've read it cover to cover. I'm going to be doing one of my famous book reviews on it soon, because as usual, it moved me. It was different. It was a different book in that probably the first half chatted about all of his amazing experiences in law enforcement and some of his incredible stories, including personal tragedy and stuff. But the majority of the book, this was a little different, was what do you do next? And 10-7, he has started, and this is his new mission, 10-7 Consulting, where he's going to help guys who are veterans or whatever. And this is veterans of all businesses from the school of hard knocks, but he especially chats to law enforcement and military guys, is developing your life, that it literally is, again, it's not a retirement, it's a redeployment. And it's going to be worth a real deep dive, because he gets just as down and dirty as saying, best thing to do is open your own business, which is true. I'm finding that out. Open your own business. Here's how to do it. Be a member of our community, and we'll show you how to do it. Very practical that way, but also so important, because so many of these guys don't know what to do, and they don't think they have any value. So won't belabor that, but 10-7, great book. And I'll be writing about it and stuff. I really appreciate you bringing that up, Val. We're going to wrap this show here. I'll be finishing up with what I usually finish up with. And this, again, it's just reaching out to all you guys. It's so interesting right now in this day and age, Val. This is not a podcast. A podcast is usually pre-recorded and then it's dumped into the mainstream and stuff. This we always do live, long form, commercial free, basically unscripted. If you think it's scripted, just listen to this show. But the key is doing it live, and then it ends up being replatformed, shared, relayed, and stuff, to the tune that my little YouTube channel is only a couple of years old, but I've had 1.4 million views now, Val. 1.4 million to whatever, 100 countries. So my sign off is always, and I do encourage everybody to wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time, because before you know it, you're in first grade. Salutes to all of you. Val, fantastic show as our facilitator. You go ahead and wrap us. Thanks.
Thank you, heroes, and your mission starts now.
Welcome to Continue Mission Radio with Captain James McCormick. By veterans, for veterans. Guest hosts tonight are author Greg Meakin and Miss Val, our military radio gal. Continue Mission starts now.